Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Brahmanandam Paramasukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dundvatitam Gaganasadrisham Tattvamasya Dilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhudam Bhavatitam Trigunarahidam Sadgurum Tam Namami Sadgurum Tam Namami. So, going to the same where we are, Grahonat Samadam Gadam, it has come to that homogeneous Akarpanyam. What is the second verse saying? Akarpanyam, Ajadim. What is Atman? Is explained in the second Kariga, and which says it is the Ajadim, Akarpanyam, Samadangada, which has become attained that samatha. So, that is being explained here, Asparsha Yogam, in the 40th verse. That is what we have to do. I think we have done that. 30? Never mind, we will. Now here we see in that. What is it? Asparsha Yoga. That is the 39 we had. Asparsha Yogo Vainama Durdarsha Sarva Yogi Bihi. There the yogi's method is said. The yogi's method is only controlling the mind, bringing it by any torturous method to Amani Bhavam. Such an Amani Bhavam has a beginning and an end. You understand? It is produced, it is a product. And a product is born in time, goes away in time. That is not the real thing. So, it is an image of the real thing, but not really the correct thing to do. Asparsha yogo vai nama durdarsha sarva yogi bihi. And it is very difficult for those people who take to yoga marga. Why? Because the yogis don't have the Vedantic. That type of yogis don't have Vedantic. But there are yogis who are Vedantins also. And great yogis are there. So, what they cannot do? They don't see the necessity to have this asparsha. You understand? They are in this world. But they control the mind. Suppress the mind and make it like a dull mind. So, the Vedantic teachers say a mind which does not think at all is not a no mind. It is a dull mind. A mind which cannot think is a dull, mindless fellow, nothing in his head. Like that. That is not. We become silent in understanding. That is totally different. Because I have moved out of this level and hence there is nothing to think about. I have become kama, krodha, virahidam, ragadvesha virahidam, mind. And there is no ragadvesha and kama, krodha adi. Then what happens? That mind naturally become quiet. So there is a difference between the yogis Amani Bhava and the Vedantins Amani Bhava. Have you understood this much? So he says here, Asparsha yogo vainama durdarshaha sarva yoginha. They cannot, for them it is very, very difficult. In fact, Asparsha yoga is not a discipline of any part of the body, but it is an understanding. It's knowledge itself. What is knowledge? That these are all mithya. That alone is real. That understanding makes it unnecessary for them to think about this one. They become sparsha rahitam because of that understanding. Whereas it becomes sparsha, they don't think about it. It is there, but you don't think about it. That is the yogic method. Sit in vipassana and any thought comes, you kill it. Which is called the yoga method. And the yoga method of meditation is not acceptable to Vedantin. So whenever our teachers say, Nirvikalpa Samadhi, that is Dharana, Dhyana, that's not our method. That doesn't mean we don't do meditation. Our meditation is from understanding. Their meditation is only a disciplinary activity. Are you getting that difference in your mind? So it is not. But that does not mean yoga is an ancient science. Nobody can condemn yoga like that. But the problem is their goal comes only up to a level. They will be able to get amani bhavam, though forcefully manipulating the mind. Okay? But we get it automatically, naturally, by understanding, by knowledge. That's all the difference. How do I get it? Because I know that it's foolish to play here. The one who plays there is not Atma Ramaha, is Indriya Ramaha. That is all. We know it. Hence, if you are wise, you don't get involved in that Indriya Rama state. You come to the Atma Rama state. So, knowledge is not mere practice of something. Knowledge is to know, pure knowledge. And here he says, they always, and what is the result of that amani bhava of the yogis? Yogino bibhyadi. They get frightened to leave their familiar fields of enjoyment. Gullies of pleasure, Gurudev will say. Gullies of pleasure. That they don't want to give. Very interesting it is. Bibhyadi. He asmad abhaye bhayadarshinaha. And what is the nature of Atman, the self? Abhayam. How many times it is said in how many verses? It is abhayam. Having gained which, nothing in the world will make you frightened. You are not afraid of death. You are not afraid of disease. You are not afraid of losing anything. Nothing. Because nothing ever belonged to you in the first place. So there are lots of wealth. You are not unduly joyous about it. There is no poverty stricken, not bothered also. Maybe that's good. I don't have to go to the income tax officer, that fellow, this fellow, and pay them all bribes. No, nothing is required. So for our medical claim, they have a little this thing. What is your PAN? What is it? PAN card number. So I wrote underneath this, not an income tax payer and hence no PAN card. What else to write? I have no PAN card. And I don't need. It's only meant for people who get money, who has got a lot of wealth and so many FDs and that and this. I don't have anything. Why should I spend another 200 rupees to make a PAN card? Understand? Yeah, what I am trying to say is all that is not, the less things we have, the less problems. Is it not true? See, my sister, children are all in States, and hence she comes every 6 months she comes here. Why are you coming then? Then stay there only. No. My properties are there, my fixed deposits are there, my that is there, this is there. Money is a burden. When I see her, I feel like that. Anyway, let it be. That's not my. That is, don't talk like a fox and the grapes, they will say. When your desire for that overpowers you, or the desire for money becomes nothing. You are a greater goal in life than the lesser goals. Not that you have given it up, but they drop by themselves. இதெல்லாம் சொன்னாலும் பணம் வேணுமே, மிஷினில் வந்தால் கூடி பணம் கேட்டுட்டே இருக்கிறே. For Vyavahara you need money. So it is foolish to say, no, I don't need any money. Why should we have Amani Bhava? Gurudev used to say one beautiful thing always. In every society, the person who has the capacity to earn money are less. You understand? So if you have that capacity, earn money. But that doesn't mean you should run after money. Earn money. There are umpteen ways in which you can spend it. You can serve the society. You can give for worthy causes. You can live a comfortable life. Your children can be educated. A lot of things can be done with money. So money is not evil. But our attitude to money is the evil. Money is good. You also, I also, even though we don't have any money income, but whatever money, whatever little pension or anything, when anybody asks, Amma, 1,000 rupees I want and the child has to be taken to hospital, I feel happy to give. Even to serve others, you must have money. Or no? So don't think money is not the evil. What is that? Mutha jahihi dhanagama trishna kuru sadbuddhim manasi vidrishna. That trishna is the problem, not money. Money is not the problem. Your unbounded desire for money is the problem. That makes you do evil things in this world. That is why it is bad. Money is not bad. Okay, Bhagavan has given, my karma bala is coming to me. I enjoy it. Kuru sadbuddhim manasi vidrishnam. There is no trishna in the mind. But whatever money I have, I spend it wisely and spiritually. That is the... Okay. So now he says here, Durdarsha sarvayogibhihi yogino bibhyati asmad abhaye bhayadarshinaha. These yogis, poor fellows, they go only up to the samadhi state, and for them that is a jada samadhi. They come out of it and then again they have the darshan of all this. Again in the morning they will go into samadhi. Have you understood? And again, this type of samadhi is condemned. Not the Vedantic samadhi. What is Vedantic samadhi? Yasmin samahida. One who is concentrated, and that concentration leads you to the adhisthanam of the mind. That is called real samadhi in Vedantic parlance. But what is samadhi for the yogis is more or less a jada samadhi, and when the mind is quiet, made quiet, that's all. Not naturally quiet. If you have understood this, you have understood the rest of the... So, abhaye bhayadarshinaha, this state of asparsha yogam is very difficult for yogis, avivekis, who have no Vedanta Vijnanam. Vedanta Vijnana Sunishchidartha. You know, right? Vedanta Vijnana makes you, your knowledge becomes doubt-free knowledge. Those yogis who get only relative merits from their exercises, not the absolute. And then it is very difficult for them to achieve Durdarsham. Though in that Advaya state, in that state of oneness with the pure consciousness, there is no avakasham, there is no probability of ever becoming frightened, because it is abhayam. And I have become one with that Advaita, Advaya avastha. Then what will happen? I also have no fear of anything. And the first of the fears that will leave you is the fear of death. Most people have fear of death. That is because if you analyze their fear, they will see that they are attached to something or other. That is why the fear. Asparsham has not been achieved. So they get fear. Otherwise there is no fear. Every time you must also meditate on death and all, because we have to die. There is no doubt about it. We have to leave all this that we hold dear. Why do you hold it dear? It is there. As long as it is there, they are dear to me or I am dear to them. But it should not become a bondage. I live in the understanding that nothing, no finite object in this world, no finite relationship in the world, no finite objects that you have, none of them are going to come with you in that last journey. Gurudev says, in that procession, last procession of yours, you are absent. He will say, in that last procession, you are absent because you are gone. How he had coined out all these, I don't know. Though I always long to write all the new words which he had coined and which explains Vedanta in a beautiful way, so that it will be helpful to future generations. But I have never come to it. Hereafter, if I'm not taking any camp or anything, I will do that. So that everybody will benefit, all the young brahmacharis and others who have not seen Gurudev. And this is one of it. That last procession of yours, in which you are absent because you are dead. That is all. Okay. Then he says, though there is no need to be afraid, but the individuality is destroyed in that Nirvikalpa Samadhi of the yogis, and when that individuality is destroyed and they come out of it, they get frightened. Yopa, I nearly died to this. Just as when you sleep also, deep sleep, and when you come out of it, first thing you say, Nanna thungite. I have slept well, and like a dead fellow, we say. Chatta madri thungite. Chatta madri alla chattute appo. They are not aware. Non-apprehension in its highest degree is there. Okay. Now from 40 to 47 verse is Nididhyasanam. Nididhyasanam, how do you do? Manaso nigrahayatam abhayam sarvayoginam dukkha nigrahayatvam abhayam dukkha kshaya prabodascha apyakshaya shantirevacha. Manaso nigrahayattam abhayam sarvayoginam. So these type of yogis, the yogis here means who go the yoga path, For them, this Nirbhaya Avastha, what we are talking about in Vedanta, and Atyandika Nasham of the Dukkha. Atyandika Nasham? Manaso Nigrahayattam Abhayam. There is no Nirbhaya Avastha is there. And Dukkha Kshayahat. Atyandika Nasha of the Dukkha. And Prabodha. Akshaya Prabodha. Akshaya Shanti. I am sorry. Prabodha. Prabodha means Prakarshena Bodhavat. In other words, Prabuddha. Prabodha means there. Prabuddha, one who had awakened to the truth. All this awakening to the truth, Atma Bodham, and Akshaya Shanti. Akshaya Shanti, Anashwara Shanti. All this is available by Mano Nigraha. What do they say? The yogis. They say everything can be achieved by Mano Nigraha, by the destruction of the mind, by the suppression of the mind, and the mind is made thoughtless mind. Thoughtless mind is the key to all this. Thoughtless mind is the key, but that thoughtless mind has to be achieved through knowledge, through natural means, not unnatural suppression. Is it clear? Mano, what is that? Amani Bhavam is common to both the Yoga Marga and the Vedantins. But the difference is Vedantin arrives at it by knowledge and by understanding, but yogis arrive at it by suppression of the mind. And they think this is Nirbhaya Avastha. This is that right Atma Darshanam. Nirbhaya Avastha means it is Atma Darshanam. It is not Atma Darshanam. Have you seen I was in Sri Lanka for 1.5 months. At that time, height of that gadbad between LTT and all that. And you must see that those priests, all in orange, everywhere you will see that Buddhist monks. And they will be so violent sometimes that you wonder whether these are really they are very spiritual people. In the TV and all they showed. They go on the stage when they are arguing and they pull them out and throw the people out and all and try to beat them up. You understand? Oh, Nirbhaya Avastha cannot be achieved by merely sitting in meditation. Out of the 12 hours, I meditate 6 hours. So what? You have circus people also have that type of stamina. Understand? Circus people also have lot of stamina. That doesn't mean they are spiritual. The stamina of sitting in one place without movement and just looking. Looking at what? I ask them again and again, what do you think at that time? No, don't think anything. Just don't think. That is the point. Great masters have denied that you have. It is not that you don't think, but the one who sees the mind with thoughts is the same consciousness which sees the mind without thoughts. Mind without thoughts or with thoughts, both are same only to the consciousness. I know that I know that I don't know. Both are same only, knowledge and ignorance. Similarly, mind without thoughts and mind without. So, anybody teaches you meditation saying that all thoughts should be stopped, they are yoga method. Do you understand? But anybody who tells you, don't bother, let it come, let the mind come, let the thoughts come, but I am separating myself from the flow of thoughts. That is the way for Amani Bhava in the Vedantic. There are many, many, many varieties of meditation. So, Amani Bhavam should be achieved by understanding and knowledge and by Shastra study and by the advice of a teacher. And also stick to one path. Not that you must not do any yoga. I also do yoga only for the body health. But about the mind and all, it is better not to touch that. Or even if you do that, change the method in the end. In the end, that knowledge, that Amani Bhavam should be, because I know mind is not different from the consciousness. Okay? These people treat the mind as something separate from the Atman and get into all these troubles. So they consistent now, Shanti Devacha, thus they are all Manda Madhyama Adhigaris. We have branded them, but does not get any phalam, not permanent phalam. You can boast in the club. What? Now I went for Vipassana meditation. And their head goes like that. So I just smile because I know this is Vipassana meditation. I will not say that it has no benefit. It has benefit, it disciplines the mind. But what is it you want in the end? Is it to have a better body or a better mind or a better intellect? What is the goal? If you want a better body, you go to gym. Not to the Vedanta class. Okay. If you want a better mind, go to all this type of meditation, Vipassana and that. If you want a better intellect, you go to higher, institutions of learning. When you come here, you have a different goal. And that goal is, I should reach my true status. And that cannot be achieved by the improvement of any of these things. They are Savisheshada is there in all of them, and you will be, all your life, you will be. So it is a great fun seeing people running on the road at 6 o'clock in the morning. Whenever I see them. For me, any type of seeing is going into meditation. Because open eye meditation, poor fellows, why can't they eat less and keep quiet at home? I feel, really honestly I feel. No, it gives you good health. If you eat the right food at the right times, you will always be in good health. Nothing else is required. Such fat ladies, walking on the road, running, jogging. Okay. So then, now he says in the next, such is the yogis. Ultsega udader yadvad kushagrena binduna manaso nigrahastadvat bhaveda parikhetataha. Here he gives a beautiful example. There is a story in which a bird had laid its eggs on the banks of a ocean, on the beach. And the next day the big tide came and took away the eggs. So the bird said, wait, I will get you give back my eggs. Otherwise I will dry up the entire ocean. That is a big, such a small bird, trying to dry the whole ocean. Imagine the perseverance it has. So what did it do? It cannot hold any big instrument or anything. So it takes one kusha grass. You see? Kushagrena. With the kusha grass is so thin grass. And with that it's taking water and putting on the shore. Went on. And it is going on doing this, relentlessly working. So Garuda went on the top at that time and he saw one of his jadi. One bird is struggling so much to get back the eggs. So it got and Garuda is very powerful. Bhagavan's Vahana, So he came making such a noise with his wings and threatened Varuna. Varuna Bhagavan, you jolly well give back her eggs to her, otherwise I don't know what will happen to you. I will also help her to dry you. So Varuna, the story goes like that. It is only proving a point, not a real story or anything. And the Varuna got so frightened that he brought the eggs and gave to the bird. What is the moral of the story? That perseverance will win you whatever the goal is. However impossible it is, you will. To a man who perseveres in his search for the goal, he will get it. That is the idea of the, what is it? I'm sorry. So, Utsega, first thing that is required is that you must have that Taitiri bird. That bird is called Taitiri bird. Yadvad, like what? Utsega udadher yadvat kushagrena egabinduna. Egabinduna means one drop by drop it tried to dry the ocean. Drop by drop. And it kushagrena ekabinduna manaso nigrahastadvad bhaved apariketataha. Therefore, though you feel lazy to do all this sitting alone and looking at the mind and studying the scriptures, going to the teacher, spending lots of money. Now, many of you will think, how much money we are spending to come here. The results, if you get it, it is not, it cannot be even equated to any amount of money that you can give. It is priceless. This priceless knowledge, that is my goal. So I go. So I spend. I think other things can wait. But this is what I want and this is the goal of my life. Then money doesn't count, nothing counts. The time. Imagine, even Tejomahendraji was surprised. How many people will come for your camp? 20 people will come, Swamiji. Huh? That is really good. For 1 month they stay there? Yes. You understand? Why? That only people want to realize the greatness of this knowledge. That's why they come, otherwise they won't come. Okay, so that type of perseverance should be in a sadhaka. What are required for your nididhyasana is perseverance. And he says, mano nigraham susadhyam is being pointed out there. It is not the mano nigraha of the yogis. When you close the eyes, nothing is there. When you open the eyes, ghadadi vishayas are there. All the ghada, pada, everything is there. When you open the eyes, the whole world of VMI-OET appears again. That is not the mano nigraha. Then what is the mano nigraha which Vedanti says? Mind has been controlled by knowledge, by viveka, by intellect. A mind which has come under the benign influence of the viveka. That mind is ever, though its eyes are open, it does not see. Does not see means? It sees. Don't say that there is no transactional. It sees, but it is not affected by what it sees. There is no interaction. Sees like in a dream. Such a man sees everything as a sort of dream. Unimportant. Oh, you know what happened. Leave it. Why? Because so far as he is concerned, there is no reality for whatever is said to have been seen by others. There are no others in the first place. But if you go on trying, by study, by contemplation, by sitting alone, by developing vairagyam, jnanabhyasad vinirmalaha. Why? Jnanabhyasam and vairagya go together. If you do that, both of them, Krishna says in the Gita, it is very difficult. Samshayam mahabaho mano durnigraham chalam. It's always moving. It's very difficult to control the mind, but it is not impossible. Vairagyena, sabhyasena tu vairagyena, by abhyasa and vairagya, it can be attained in due course. That is what is said there. Kalakramam, mano nigraham becomes possible. But you should never lose sight of the goal, and you should never stop raising yours towards that goal. Uddhared atmanatmanam natmanam avasadayet. Never you should allow yourself to come down in your endeavor. Always take one little step towards that. Akshina parishramam. Okay. Then he says, Upayena nigrihniyat. Nigrihniyat. Vikshiptam kama bhogayoho. Suprasannam le chaiva. Yatha kamo layastadha. Upayena nigrihniyad. You have to destroy what? That mind which has become vikshiptam. The mind which goes into that state called vikshepam, misapprehension, and think if I get this, I will be happy. If I get that, I will be happy. That type of vikshepa is there in the mind. That is maya karyam. Vikshepa is maya karyam. Hence, when kama bhogayoho, in kama in desires and bhoga enjoyments, your mind is fallen in that. Vikshipta means chip. Chip is the word to throw. Vikshipta means the mind is thrown in that kama bhogas. Vikshiptam manaha upayena nigrihniyat. You must use some trick to destroy it. What is the trick? Kama bhogayoho. He will tell how in the next verse. Vikshiptam, by some upaya you have to, I am going to tell you later. how to control the mind which is being disturbed by kama and bhoga. In fact, that is the greatest disturbance to the mind of a human being. Uncontrollable desires and sense pleasures. Bhoga there stands for sense pleasures. Sense pleasures can be many things, like even eating is a sense pleasure. Everything is pleasure. What you see, what you hear can become a sense pleasure. What you read need not be Vedanta. You can read any rubbish also. When you go into a bookshop, you see such dirty books everywhere, along with the good books. What does it show? Manaha vikshiptam kama bhogayo. In the kama and bhoga, it is thrown into it, distracted by it because of your rajoguna. What gives you ragadveshas, kama bhogas is only the rajoguna in you. Sattva-guna pradhani is always freed from the distraction of these things. You have gone beyond the rajoguna. And he says, suprasannam laya chaiva. In that laya state, in the deep sleep state, what happens is suprasannam. You are very, very happy. But that is not a state to be a goal of your life, is it not? Just because, I don't know what is your goal of life. There are some people who are kumbhakarnas, who sleep 6 months, half the lifetime. They are called kumbhakarnas. Why? Because it's so pleasant. Prasannam, suprasannam. It's very nice to sleep. So then, suprasannam le chaiva, though that deep sleep state is very pleasant, yadha kamo layas tadha, like kama bhoga, like kama bhoga, it is also very attractive. To whom? To the tamasic person. To the tamasic person, layam is also very, eppapar thungindirkrayada, mother will shout. You understand? Here he says, he is clubbing all the three together. Kama, bhoga, layam. Layam means deep sleep state. Layam. It's also pleasant. He says, just as desires, layam, that is the deep sleep state, is also anarthakari. It prevents you from reaching that state. Why? Because you sleep all the time. What should be spent in controlling the mind and all that, you spend in sleeping. Anarthakari. Anartha sandadi it is. Layam, even in the meditation also, layam will disturb you no end. You will go to sleep. The mind has become controlled and there are no thoughts coming in meditation. And the first obstacle in meditation is sleep will overtake you. If sleep is not there, some vikshiptam, some kama bhoga will come to your mind. In meditation, is it not? They are equally harmful to get the amani bhavam. You'll go into sleep, but that sleep state is a jada state, ignorant state. Hence it is also equally anarthakari. It is against knowledge. When you are in darkness, light is not your nature and the light is your nature. How will you know in darkness? Oh yes, he combines both. Don't think, you can Yoga is not for one. Even yoga is not for one who sleeps too much. You have to control your sleep. In the meditation, definitely. You will get control over the sleep in meditation only by consistent practice. You will go into sleep sometimes, particularly if your body is tired, you have eaten too much. You go into sleep. So then you must keep yourself aware and then tell, no, I have not come here to sleep. I have come for meditation. That with an effort, you must bring yourself out of sleep. That's what I did when I started these practices long ago. And now, when I sit for meditation, the mind cooperates so much and it says, no, I know now you want to meditate. So it doesn't go into sleep. It has become habituated for not sleeping. You have to achieve that. You have to achieve by constant practice. Otherwise you can't say, no, I went off to sleep. Why sleep is coming, Amma? What can I say? I didn't send it. You understand? You have to be aware. Hello. Hari Om. Okay. Nikrinayad vikshiptam kama bhogayoho suprasannam. We will see later when the control of layam comes. So layam also, layam means sleep, is also something to be overcome in your journey to the highest. Not only you must overcome kama and bhoga, you must also overcome the ability to get into sleep. But when we come to Vedanta class, you will become used to sleep. The moment the uninteresting thing comes, like that. I go sit in meditation, we say, now you sit, and I say, samagriva shiro kaya, the body, neck and spinal column erect. It looks like a exclamation mark. And you are so stiff. Like that you will say. After some time the teacher opens the eyes and what do they say? It has become a question mark. Exclamation mark has become question mark. And this is nothing. In Gurudev's meditation class, they will also say, and he won't say anything at the meditation time because he will be disturbing everybody who is really meditating. So in the class, next Vedanta class, it will all come out. Did you hear some sound in the morning? Like that. And everybody will start laughing. To consciously, how do you stop it? Become aware. I am not sitting for sleeping here. I just now got up from sleep and come. That is very important because one of the first obstacles of meditation is layam. So you say, you do whatever. What you have to do, I cannot tell you. You may chant something, aham brahmasmi, I am that, or some verse which you know, which is lifting you up in thought. Some method you must use to keep that sleep away. Or chant the name of the Lord. What is this? I am feeling so tamasic, oh Lord. Do some sadhana like that. But you become aware. I am going to sleep, I think. Then you wake yourself up. That is a better method. And slowly, the layam you will overcome. Don't get worried if you go to sleep. First of all, observe all the rules. That you should have had a good sleep first of all. Not the whole 3/4 of the night you are awake and then next day morning you are sitting for meditation. Absolutely you will go to sleep. or the body is very tired, you can't sleep, you can't meditate. So that early morning hours when you are going to meditate, you must be fresh. And there should be, the night meal should be very light. All these are the rules that are made by the great sadhus in the world. And when the mind is going into sleep, you become aware. No. That is tamas. Okay, you become aware. Awareness will stop that tendency to sleep in meditation. Become aware. Become aware of your breath. In the morning in the meditation I told you, become aware that you are breathing. That I am watching my breath means I am becoming aware of my breath. Similarly, I become aware, now I think I am going to sleep. Then you stop it by saying, no, I am not in the tamasic mode, I am in the sattvic mode. Becoming aware of it only, it will stop. What happens is, without knowing, you will sleep. No? In meditation, what happens? You are not aware, and suddenly you start sleeping. And then you get up like that. All right. So he says in the next verse, Kamo layastadha yadha kamo. So all these, the first is perseverance should be there. Second is kama and bhoga should be controlled. Vikshiptam kama bhogayoho suprasannam leja. Even though sleep is a very nice experience, you don't indulge in meditation or even daily, regularly. Have set times for sleep. Not too much, not too little. In fact, we and all, sadhus and all should not sleep in the daytime. The rule is there. But we are very busy. We are not like the sadhus in Himalayas. They will be all the time sitting. They can be without sleep. But we will be physically working. And if you are physically working, you feel tired. That is all. Now it says in the next verse, Dukkham sarvam anusmritya Kama bhogan nivartayet Ajam sarvam anusmritya Jadam naiva tu pashyati. This is the abhyasam, that Brahma abhyasam. It is. Every day you have to do Brahma abhyasam. Remedy for vikshepa. What is this? This is the remedy for vikshepa. What is the anxiety, fear, everything you have to think about. Dukkham sarvam anusmritya. See, when you are experiencing kama and bhoga, kama bhogas, when you are remembering, you also remember the result. What is the result? Dukkham anusmritya. With every joy, there is the seeds of Dukkham anusmritya. And when kama bhoga nivartayed, you will, this whole samsara is dukkha purnam. It is asukham anityam lokam. Think about it. Think in this samsaric world, very few people are really happy. They may be happy now and then. That is a different thing. That is only flickers of happiness. But they are not really permanently happy, or it has not become their secondary nature. So there nobody is happy. Call no man happy, says the poem. No man is happy. Something or other will be there. But they will say. Are you? How are you? I'm okay. But. What is that but? Something is wrong. So many people talk like that only. But my health is not all right. But my children are not okay. Or my problem I have with financial problems are there. There will be so many, but. So, dukkha manusmritya. If I indulge in this kama and bhoga all my life, what will happen to me? What will happen to my family? What will happen to the peace that I relish? Dukkha manusmritya. You understand that indulging in these type of things will create dukkham for me. So hence I keep away. Why people keep away from them? Because they know the phalam will be very bad. I keep on drinking, then the phalam will be one day you will get cirrhosis. Sure. And cirrhosis is a painful disease. So think about that. Why I am indulging in this? I'll get cirrhosis. And if cirrhosis comes, then you remember some friend who had cirrhosis and he died recently. You understand? Pratipaksha bhavana. Dukkha manusmritya means I have the pratipaksha bhavana of what will be the result of my actions. When I have that pratipaksha bhavana, I will never indulge. If you are a wise man, if you are a fool, of course, nobody can help you. Because you cannot help yourself. How can anybody else help you? Okay. Dukkha manu. In the Gita, Krishna says, Janma mrityu jara dukkha dosha darshanam. Dosha darshanam. Dosha darshanam is there. And hence we have to develop viveka and vairagya towards them. Dukkha doshanu darshanam. In janana marana and in the way we live, there is always possibility. Dukkha yonaya evacha. Everything has got the seeds of dukkha in them. I have told you so many times this. Until you got a car, you wanted a car. That is all your only desire, not Brahman and all. Then what do you want? I want a car. I am tired of waiting for this bus. In rain and shine and I want a car. Then I applied. Then I got applied for what? Nano. And I got a Nano. As long as the Nano is functioning properly, you are a happy man. Any time it meets with an accident, you will curse even the government. Why did they choose my name for it? Is it not so? Every sukham has the seeds of dukkha embedded in it. How many houses you see, they didn't have children and they prayed in all the temples and they got a child finally. And how will you know that child is going to be a dundukari? Nobody will know. When you took him in his hand, so many years afterwards got the baby, you are happiness personified. Is it not? Later on, the boy started showing his true colors. And then you will tell everybody, what to do? When I didn't have child, I had only one sorrow. I have no child. But now I wish I had no child. This type of a child, what for? In that object of joy itself, you can see the seeds of sorrow. Imagine. In the world, here in this cage, whatever joy you are enjoying, they are all full of the seeds of sorrow. When it will become sorrow, we don't know. The other day, I read in the paper somewhere in Coimbatore or somewhere. I don't know what is the reason and all that, but one man rang the bell and the housewife opened, a young lady opened the door and he had a knife like this. He just put it through her neck and it came out, I believe. Can you imagine? Why? Because there some money is there or some diamond she was wearing. I don't know what it is. All joys are coated with, sugar coated with sorrow. Or you can say all dukkhas are sugar coated with joy. So you see like our allopathic pills. In case that covering goes, ayyo pa, some dirty taste. Thinking like this. What is Pratipakṣa Bhava? Thinking like this, you will overcome your desire for fulfillment of kama and krodha. I remember way back I read Gurudev's book, Vedanta Through Letters. That book is no longer available, the first volume. Vedanta Through Letters, volume 1. Because that was written by Gurudev in the early stages of his prajar work. He had lot of time to write, and he's a writer par excellence, and the devotees used to write to him about their spiritual problems, and he will give beautiful answers. Those answers will help us. It's true sadhana. It is coming from a man of realization. It can be of use. So, what I wanted to say, in that there is a letter written by a man. You are a wonderful teacher, Gurudev, and I understand everything that you say, but I have got hidden desires in me. He was open. He wrote to Gurudev like that. And they torture me, torment me. I cannot look at a woman without feeling attracted to her. Such people are there, In this world, there are some people like that, who are all, overdeveloped, I don't know what, whatever. And he wrote, what should I do? How can I overcome this weakness in me? So Gurudev said, you must read his answer. It is so beautiful. I don't remember now, only the gist I remember. He says, don't blame yourself. That happens. Vasanas are there. And vasanas have to be overcome. But then when you see a woman walking, don't think about her on an equal basis. Say, how she got this much beauty or this much. You move on to the higher. From that level you look at the woman, and then you will never feel physically attracted to her. He has written. He never blamed that man. It's a wonderful letter. So that's what happens. Kama bhogas can be overcome by awareness again. Awareness and dukkha doshanu darshana. Okay? This should be done. And I think our time is long ago it is up. Now I am breaking all time rules. I have to finish now. Ajam dukkham sarvamanusmritya kama bhogad nivartayed. And a man who goes on thinking in this higher level of thinking, then what happens? He gets freed from that travails of kama and bhoga. Ajam sarvam anusmritya jadam naivatu pashyate. And every time remembering that ajam, unborn, the pure consciousness in you, Jyotiswarupa, this Sagrud Vibhadi, always shining in you. Always remembering that ajam, you will never see the jadam. Jadam? Born. What is born? All this. How can I get rid of that drishti of the BMI, OET, PFT world by constantly, what did I give you in the morning? Detached attachment. Detached from you. I do not see it because my eyes are hooked on to that unborn. So I don't see anything that is born. What is born? All the whole world. The mithya world that you see. It disappears to a man who constantly remembers the reality, which is unborn. What a way he has put it, see. Ajam sarva manusmritya jadam naiva tu pashyati. You never see that which is born, the dualistic world of plurality, you don't see. Why? Because all the time my contemplation is on Nididhyasanam we are talking about, and don't forget that. I am constantly remembering of the highest in me. I do not see, I become indifferent, as it were, to my body, mind and intellect, to the ego in me. I become indifferent. Udasina vad. Somewhere in the Gita he comes, Udasina vad. Indifferent to. Because this is not the goal of my life. I have changed my goal from this to that. And that is what? Ajam, unborn. Jyotiswarupa, immortal. All the words have come. And this is what? Just the opposite. Is it not? It is born, so it will die. The body will die. The mind, the intellect, they may not die in this life or even after this life, but one day it will disappear. When we are doing the shariras, we saw all three shariras will finally go away. I don't see that which is born. My drishti is in the unborn, so I don't see what is born. Oh, Brahma Abhyasam, the Samadhi Abhyasam you have to do, the Vedantic teaching is Ajam Sarvam. Everything is Dosha Darshanam, and by Dosha Darshanam and Viveka Vairagya, that's a fourfold sadhanas. When I am practicing Viveka Vairagya, Samadhi Shatka Sampatti and Mumukshutvam, when I practice that, I do not get attracted to a world of pleasures. So if you have such vasanas, it is not a sin or anything. It is the result of sins committed earlier. How I overcome is that at that sukshma level only you have to overcome it. So that is why you must turn your attention very strongly towards the unborn pure existence, that is Brahman. Then all pleasures appears to be very silly pleasures. Okay? You have to move away from here. Amani bhavam of the mind should take place. So, how very important is Amani bhavam? Mind is not coming out in thought and disturbing my tranquility and peace. That is the way we have to overcome these impediments. Now kama bhoga are what? It is called vikshiptam, vikshepam. Layam you have to conquer by saying, I am not tamasic, I am a sattvic person, I am not tamasic now in the seat of meditation, and you overcome the tendency to sleep. At least in meditation you will learn to know that you are about to sleep. The yogi can sleep at will and can get up at will. Such control they have. So he says that's these three. Now the other vikshiptam, layam, and what else we will see in the next verse. Evening. Oh.